What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about Genesis chapter 3, verses 14 to 19. This is the judgment on the old serpent, Satan, and Adam and Eve. Most people see that they were judged and they know some of what their consequences was for their sin, but do you really know all of it? And that's what I want to share with you here today, to give you a breakdown of this chapter or these particular verses so you can better understand what the consequences are for sin of Adam, Eve, and Satan, and what was the punishment of it. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Let me pull up my Bible here and we can start right in chapter 14. So what we see here is the first judgment upon sin, the judgment upon the tempter, the old serpent called the devil. He was cursed above all creatures. We see this in verses 13, chapter 3, verses 14. We also see is he was to crawl upon his belly, that is, to be detested, degraded, miserable, always. This is covered in verse 14 as well. And we also see he was to eat dust, to be defeated and humiliated, always to be that. Covered also in verse 14. We also see in verse 15, he was to be the object of enmity. Enmity was to be waged between him and the woman and her seed. Enmity means to have conflict with, to go to battle against, to fight against. That's what that means. And also we see in verse 15, he was to be crushed by one particular seed or a descendant of the woman. This is covered in um verse 15, and it's actually our Lord Jesus Christ who crushed him when he died on the cross and he went down to hell for us and got the keys. He defeated Satan at that time. This now brings us to Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. The first judgment upon sin, the judgment of woman, Eve. She was to experience many forms of pain. You'll see that pain covered in verses 16. Also, you'll see in 16, she was to have a yearning desire for a husband. That was a part of her consequences. So read it carefully and look at the commentary so you can better understand it. Also, you'll see in verse 16 is she was to live in subjection to her husband. She still was supposed to be equal to her husband, but she now had to be subjected to her husband. That means that the husband is the head of the household. Now we go into that was verse 16 that we did. So now we go into verse 17 to 19. And what are we going to see in 17 to 19? First, we see the first judgment upon sin, judgment upon man. We see that Adam, he was condemned to live in a cursed world, a world of imperfection and corruption, covered in verse 17. We also see he was condemned to struggle for survival and condemned to struggle against nature and for the basic necessity of life, which is food. This is covered in chapter 3, verses 17c to 19a. And finally, we see in 19b, he was condemned to die. All those things that I just named about Adam have fallen upon us because of his sin and has fallen upon this earth because of his sin. So that is it. If this was beneficial to you, hit the thumbs up button. Also add this to your favorite list so you can take notes and journal this, and so you can have it and you can use it. So I want to thank you for watching. God bless you and God bless your family. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you are interested, you can see the full interpretation on my YouTube channel. If you type in my name right there and you go to my YouTube channel and you go to live stream, you can see a full breakdown, a full in-depth study of this. There's probably like 3 or 4 videos regarding this chapter. It was very in-depth. So I wanted to get it out to you. I thought it would be important for you to understand. So I want to thank you for watching again. God bless you and God bless your family, and I'll see you in the next video.